Welcome back to episode 190 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. What's going on, Troy?
Not a whole lot. Had a nice little travel weekend, and I'm back.
Yeah, we're going to get all into that. Don't you worry about that. I know your sleep schedule has been a little bit wonky because you seem to like to fly in the middle of the night for some reason. But you've been watching any of the hockey games at all? Did you see the Oilers?
I did not. What did I had the Rangers game on at the hotel. Just in the periphery, I was doing some stuff, but I didn't see any of the Edmonton games.
Looks like we have a dogfight in both series. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Both tied at 1-1. Our boy Ottinger came up pretty big last night. Did you see game one where he like scrambled McDavid's brain on that basically empty net? That was kind of funny.
Well, who was it? It was Ottinger. I saw some highlights where he looks really, really composed right now. So he looked really good.
No. Yeah, fun time of year. And, you know, as we talked about, I think before, for pretty good teams left, probably the win for the hobby would be Oilers, Rangers.
Yep.
But probably can't go wrong. Well, I suppose I love Florida, but we know they don't get a lot of hobby love. But there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
Florida, I was going to say Florida, Dallas might be the one that the hobby doesn't want.
Yeah. Crazy big show, lot to get into. So we're going to get rolling right away, Troy. But before we do, a quick reminder that our podcast, Hockey Cards Gongshow, is a Patreon podcast. What that means is we rely on support of listeners like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way to grow the hockey hobby. You can support us via Patreon. It's very easy to do. We have a $1.99 support level tier, starts at $5 a month. Also get access to our Discord server, which gets better and better over time. Feels like home now, Troy. Feels like home.
It's to the point I have trouble keeping up with the amount of messages,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a community of its own. And what I love too is that people are really like sharing information and helping each other out. Yeah. It's not just like memes, even though I like memes, but so it's amazing. And I think a great benefit of supporting our show. It's very easy to support us. All you got to do is go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. If you want to, just go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. We put a link in the show description on our podcast apps if you're listening to audio, or in the YouTube description as well. And then in our Instagram, TikTok profiles, there's a link too. Troy, since our last show, we have 3 new members, which is pretty awesome. We have Honey Badger. Great name. Out of 199. Jay Peterman.
Yes.
You know that, right?
From Seinfeld.
Yeah, out of 199. And then Only Zool, another great one, right?
What? We got Zool from Ghostbusters? Is that what that's from?
I don't know, but I'm going to pretend.
Well, Honey Badger was the video. Remember that video where it's like, Honey Badger don't care. And it's just like trouncing around eating cobras or whatever.
Yeah. Awesome names. Thank you all for supporting us, and welcome to the gang. All right, Troy, you ready with the game plan?
We begin the show with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 90. Then we take a quick look at the Montreal Sports Card Expo that I went to last Friday. Next is Hobby News, followed by a segment where we take a look at some of the NHL players that have served their country, as today is Memorial Day in the United States, and we thought it would be a nice tie-in to that holiday, along with some vintage that we can look up. We then go to new product releases, followed by the massive Gong Show mailbag. Would we tie a record, we said?
Tie to the record, yeah.
Tie the record of number of questions.
The listeners and followers showed up, Troy. They
did. They did. We end the show with personal pickups, which are an absolutely... I have a bunch for me. But then we were going to sit back and listen to Uncle Josh. He will sit by the fire and tell us a tale of woe from a recent purchase that he made. It's fantastic.
What a hobby fail. What an idiot I am. I'm probably even dumber for admitting this to
you gotta
thousands of people, but it's funny.
You got to admit it. So that's the show. That's the game plan for today. Okay. So Josh, previously we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so we are now looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. The almost greatest player to wear, number 90, per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is this guy, Josh, Joe Juno. He's our boy. We have talked about him before because I was going through
My brain is going crazy because I'm like, are you sure we haven't done him? Because I know we profiled him.
And I can't remember if it was like in a PWCC segment, like we looked at one something.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing. I'm going through this. I'm like, I've seen all this stuff before, but I just redid it anyways because I couldn't find in our outline where it was. But if we did do it, if he was on another number, I don't know, maybe something screwed up. But we're gonna do Joe Juno anyways.
Well, we have to remember sometimes too, Troy, that technically we're the only people that are at every show, right? Like some people may not have heard the information before. So,
well, someone I'm sure will dig through and find it. There's some pretty some people that can do some research. All right, the other runner-up at number 90 was the Minnesota Wild's own Marcus. Is it Johansson?
Yeah.
Obviously, I watch the team a lot. If I don't,
not too impressed. So I'm glad you passed over that.
But I went Joe Juno, but I said if Johansson plays another couple seasons, he actually might take over the almost greatest story number 90. Who knows? Depends how you want to look at it with stats and how long more the number and all that stuff. But however, for now, we're going to Joe Juno. As a reminder, the greatest story number 90, everyone's favorite, Ryan O'Reilly. So you've all been O'Reilly. We talked about him. Thank you. Okay.
No, wait, you said you were going to look for the gift. Did you not find
it? I couldn't find it because I think Neil created it and he sent it to us and I failed miserably. Because why would I save that into a proper spot on a folder that I could?
I think it's actually on Giphy.
Oh, is it?
It might be. Yeah, Neil, of course, is AKA Irish Flyers collector.
Yeah.
But more importantly, AKA Expo Mom. As we affectionately call him now.
But he created a sweet GIF or GIF, whatever you want to call it. But it was awesome. Okay, so I didn't find it. I failed. I'll look for it maybe next episode. Okay, but our boy, Joe Juno, center from Pont Rouge. Or no, it's got to be, is it like Moulin Rouge? I'm going to say Pont Rouge, Quebec.
Look at you, Troy. You go to Montreal, and all of a sudden you come back, and now I'm the only idiot that can't pronounce anything.
Oh, it was hilarious. It's like I had imaginations of me just being able to speak fluent French at the expo and just going around, but no,
don't worry. I don't want to skip ahead for a few minutes, but I got some inside info about you at the expo, so I can't wait to share that.
Okay. All right. Juno was selected 81st overall in the 1988 NHL entry draft by the Boston Bruins. Juno played in 828 regular season NHL games over a 13-season NHL career. Juno began his career with over 2 seasons with the Boston Bruins, then played 6 seasons with the Washington Capitals. 6-ish seasons. All right, he got traded in there. Next, it was a very short 9-game stint with Buffalo, followed by a season with Ottawa. Then it was 1 season with Phoenix, and Juno would end his career with 3 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. For his awards and accomplishments, Josh, 1992-93 NHL All-Rookie Team. Also, he did have some NCAA hockey awards. He was a 2-time All-American at RPI. I don't even want to try to say the first part of that name because I know I always mess it up, but it's RPI. And he won an award, Josh, I've never heard of. And so I'm going to talk about it. Okay. He was a recipient of the 2016 NCAA Silver Anniversary Award winner. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So what is it? Well, here it is. The Silver Anniversary Awards are awarded every year by the NCAA to recognize 6 distinguished former student athletes, I love how they're still saying that, on their 25th anniversary as college graduates. In order to be eligible, the nominee must be a college graduate, must have completed in an intercollegiate competition 25 years before the NCAA convention date, must be a varsity letter winner at an NCAA member institution, and must have achieved personal distinction since the graduation. Okay. So there it is. He won that award. I had no clue, but there you go. For his regular season stats, Josh, 156 goals, 416 assists for 572 points. Juno made the playoffs in 10 of his 13 NHL seasons, compiling 25 goals, 54 assists, 79 points in 112 NHL playoff games played. Josh, the best regular season of, why did I leave Gagne in there? Juno's career, from a point standpoint, was his 1992-93 rookie season. where Juno had 32 goals, 70 assists for 102 points in 84 games played with the Boston Bruins. Now, I couldn't verify this, but I could have swore he's one of the few rookies to win or score 100 points and not win Rookie of the Year. He didn't win Rookie of the Year
because Timu. That was the same year as Timu Slime.
Was that Timu? Yeah, and then I think Crosby might have been the same way. He scored over 100 points and didn't win Rookie of the Year.
How many players do you think in NHL history that played, let's say, 5 or more years,
their rookie year
where their rookie year was their best year? Would part of you be kind of disappointed by that? I mean, it's hard to say that. Listen, if you scored 100 points in the NHL, you were a good player. There's no way around that. But it would be kind of weird, though, right? 13 years.
We've seen it. I know we've seen it in this. Yeah, we've seen it in this segment a couple times now. I'm guessing it's very low, but it's definitely not. I mean, it happens. So Juno was 102 point scorer in his 92-93 rookie year in the NHL. However, Josh, that didn't stop Boston from trading him the next year to the Capitals for our boy Al Iafrate. There you go. They got the skullet, and I think Iafrate only played 12 games with Boston, if I remember right. I'm going off memory. He didn't play a lot, but now Juno could never match his 102 point season again, but did have 5 seasons with over 40 points. However, his numbers would steadily decline as his career progressed due to chronic injuries. So that's our little summary of our boy. So Josh, after his career, Juno went to work in the corporate world for Harfin Technologies. Juno would later go on to move to Fairbanks, Alaska, where he helped promote youth hockey in the area before moving to KUU JJUAQ, Quebec. I'm not going to even try. And headed hockey Kunjak.
No.
And headed hockey programs for Inuit youth in northern Quebec, focused on encouraging academic
progress. Is the part I remember about, because we don't usually talk about like Sam Johnson was a assistant director at Sam's Club in, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny. Not too many guys go into the corporate world like that. But I think this is a new photo, because I thought that we looked at like before the Harfan Technologies, whatever. Should be a sponsor of the show by now, but that like the kind of key people, page on the website.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a new photo, and I'm not even related. It was just an older photo, but okay. Fun, interesting facts, Josh. Wore number 90 because most of the time, number 9, which was his preferred number, was either retired or worn by a current player on the team he was playing for. So he just settled it on 90. But I think with Boston, he might have been 49 when he started.
Mm-hmm.
Nickname was Little Joe.
Oh.
In college, Juno had a 4.0 GPA and earned an aeronautical engineering degree in just 3 years. All this while starting college and not knowing how to speak English. Pretty good.
That's wild. That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? After college, Juno actually held out signing with the Bruins as he wanted to be guaranteed that he would be paid his full salary, even if he was sent to the minors. Boston refused as they were burned by Wes Walz the previous year. Doesn't surprise me. Mm-hmm. Juno said he was going to play hockey in Switzerland, to which GM Harry Sinden responded, "I hope he learns how to yodel."
That's pretty funny.
Juno did eventually sign to Boston's terms, and guess what? Juno never went to the minors during his entire NHL career. During the 92-93 season, Juno set the NHL record for assists in a season by a left wing with 70, a mark Juno held until 2022 when it was passed by Johnny Gaudreau, who had 75 assists with Calgary in the 21-22 season. That doesn't sound right. Gaudreau didn't play. I screwed up there, I think. Yeah, I think it's Gaudreau, but I have the team wrong, if I remember. Oh, maybe it is Calgary. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. He got traded for Calgary for 2022-23. It was his first year in
Columbus. Okay, so Columbus, it was Calgary. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So originally I had to double check this record because it said Huberdeau in Wikipedia, and I'm like, every time I see that stuff, I go out to the NHL site and try to verify it. And it was actually Johnny Gaudreau. So something got screwed up, but it is Gaudreau. The
internet was wrong.
Oh yeah, it was definitely wrong. In the 21-22 season, Panarin also passed Juno with 74 assists by a left wing. Panarin also had 71 assists this season as well. So Juno held this record until 2022, and then everyone else decided they're going to jump in and start scoring a bunch of points.
Is it harder for a left wing to get assists than a right wing?
Oh, I have no idea. Depends your systems and who you have on your line and all that stuff. In 1996, Juno was the first player ever to be awarded a penalty shot in overtime in a Stanley Cup playoff game.
Did he score?
No. He did not score. Okay. His rookie card, Josh. Here it is. 1991, Parkhurst, number 234, Joe Juno. PSA pop of 4, gem rate of 44%. Last sales card was on April 18th, 2024 for $38 US via eBay, verified in Terapeak. I just do not like the design of these 92 or 91 Parkhursts.
No, they're ugly, man. Sorry,
like
Joe.
Pro set, right? Those early 90 Pro sets.
Yeah. Your rookie's ugly, bro. Sorry, man. All right, Joe Juno.
There we go.
We know all about him. We know about his post. He's a smart guy.
We better. We think we've done him twice now, but we'll see.
Maybe as a joke, like we should just like randomly do Joe Juno profiles over and over again. That'd be funny. Well, it was about a week ago now that you announced to me that you were planning one of your sneaky adventures across the globe in order to learn more about the hockey hobby. And you said that you were going to brave Quebec and go to Montreal to attend the Sport Card Expo, which you were at. And we literally have not talked about it because we wanted to save it for the show. And I have a trillion questions, so get ready for that. But we're going to turn it over to you to talk about how this all came to be, Troy.
All right. So, yes, as Josh said, I decided to make a trip over to Montreal and attend the Montreal Sports Card Expo. And the way my schedule worked out, basically Friday was the day I was going to be there. Flew in Thursday. I would leave Saturday. And, I started looking at my calendar and I'm like, it's Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S., so not a lot going on with my kids' activities. So I decided, well, why not go check out the Montreal Sports Card Expo, because we've been to Toronto. We know it's like the expo, it's the big one. But I wanted to see how another one compares and just kind of thought this would be a good test to see what it's like. And also I had this thought where I keep thinking to myself, okay, my PC, I'm really honed in on Wild and North Star players.
Yep, you're in a group.
And I'm like, okay, well, if I go to this show in Montreal, maybe I'll find dealers that have had this stuff in boxes, or they've had forever that there aren't many Wild or North Star fans up in Montreal. So maybe I'll find some stuff. And that hunch was right. I definitely found some stuff.
You got a haul. You definitely got a haul.
I did. So I was glad. I was so glad I went to this show and just wanted to see a different one. And then two, just the stuff I got from my PC. So the show itself was held at the Complexe Multisports de Laval. So it was in actually Laval, Quebec. Yeah. And I'm guessing this just means Multisports Complex. So I'm going to show, actually, I'll show a picture in a sec. It was held inside like a field house where like they would play soccer or whatever you want to do in there. And now the show floor was actually the artificial turf from the soccer field, which was actually really, really nice to walk on. It was a little bit spongy and it wasn't like a hard floor. So it was really nice to walk on. But one thing with AstroTurf is it can get a little steamy. It has a tension, or it can retain some heat. But there's obviously a roof on the building. I'll put a picture up here. But as you can see, AstroTurf, and it did get a little steamy, but it was nothing too horrendous. I mean, I was never sweating profusely, but
how warm was it outside?
Oh, it was very windy. It was like 65 Fahrenheit, 65 to 70-ish. Really.
Do you have any concept whatsoever of Celsius? I do not.
No.
Like if zero
is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. 0 degrees Celsius, right, is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
that's my reference point.
Now the AstroTurf, you didn't get your cleats stuck and have any knee injuries, did you? No.
Nope, I did not. No knee injuries. No jumping up to wave a runner home and then collapsing because my leg decided to give out. None of that fun stuff. So here's a picture. You can see we're in a field house. And then I'm going to show another picture. I got up to a second level, but I couldn't get outside. But you can see this was through a window. You can definitely see there's more of the field house on the left-hand side, but this would be the size of it, if you can see. So again, it's not Toronto, and I didn't expect it to be the size of Toronto. I don't even know what a good guess would be. 16th of the size, maybe. I mean, it's
okay. Small show.
Yeah, but I mean, I think and of course these Montreal Sports Card Expos are pretty new, right? It's only, I think this might be the second or third one.
I don't know the full story, but I think what happens is that maybe like Sport Card Expo acquired like a small show and then is working to build it up a little bit using their brand and their infrastructure and their general know-how and how to run a good show.
Yeah.
And last year was the first year, I want to say, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. And I talked to, I mean, even our buddy Phil that was there, but I talked to some of the dealers and they said it was bigger than last time. So that's good. So that's my thing. I'm sure these ones, once you start them up and you're trying to grow it, I guess any growth is good, but it'll probably take a while if it needs to keep expanding, get the word out, all that fun stuff.
Well, because it has Expo attached to it, I think for us, we're naturally going to want to compare it to Toronto. Yes. And I'm assuming that that's not a fair comparison in a lot of ways. Or
no, I don't think so. But it's nice. I will say what they have going for them is getting that whole brand on the Sports Card Expo now, because you got Toronto, you got Edmonton, Montreal. Is there one I'm missing?
Quebec City, right?
Quebec City is going to be another one. So I like what they're doing with that whole branding thing, because it gives, especially with Toronto being the big, it gives credence to like the other ones.
Sure.
And you think about like hockey cards. I know there's Sports Card Expo, but a lot of hockey cards. And also to give a size of the idea. So I was there on Friday, and I was there from when it opened at 3 p.m. to right around 7 p.m. And I think it closed at 8, but I was able to see everything and spend time digging through boxes. I guess
so. It was less hours than the expo, because I was kind of
hours.
When I saw text messages from you that you were getting there at 2 on Friday, I'm like, well, that's kind of weird that you were going so late, because the expo in Toronto typically is open around 10 a.m., right?
Yeah. So this didn't have a Thursday, though. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, so it was Friday the preview, essentially, then?
Yeah, but they didn't call it a preview. It was just open Friday.
Okay.
I will say this, maybe another night. You could do another day. It would probably be nice to just mop up and make sure you didn't really miss anything. But I felt within the 4 to 5-ish hours I was there, I saw everything I needed to. I had time to sit and dig through boxes. And I mean, it was that in a way that is kind of nice. I will say, it's like, because the first time we were at Toronto, it took me like 3 days to even figure out what I was doing. But it's definitely a good show to dig through and find stuff. So talking to a lot of people, obviously I was able to say hi to Jeremy Lee, our friend. He introduced me to the guy that runs the show, Steve Menzie. I met him for the first time, so it was nice. He's the president, owner of the expo. It was awesome to meet him. And I thank Jeremy for making that introduction. Talked to our friend, who I'll get his name wrong, Sylvan. I always want to say it the other way. He was working at the Slab Sharks booth. And then our friend, Phil, the Loud Collector, who's helped us co-host and stuff. Actually, I explored most of the floor with him. So I would just follow him around, because he had his system where he did quadrants. And so I just followed him around. And then I would find a box, sit down. He'd be like, all right, I'm going off, and I'll find you. And I was like, all right. And then I have to give a big thank you to our friend Tom, also known as Kirill Recognized Real on Instagram. He had a table set up and was able to usher me in a tad early to explore around. And then I did run into Mikey Singer, our friend who runs the day-to-day operations, I guess, of the expo. And Mikey immediately tried to get me on a panel.
I heard about that. I heard you shut him down pretty forcefully.
I got panicky. I was just like, no, I don't want it. I want to dig around, find stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't have my partner in crime. I felt like I needed you're like my safety net in case something goes wrong. I'm
impressed that you called Tom by the right name for Kirill Recognized Real.
I sent him a message.
Every time you message him, it's a different name.
And I'm like, I don't even know why I thought that. I have no clue why I thought that.
Hey,
like,
Matt.
I knew what his name was. But
hey,
he was
Bob.
funny about it. He's like, he's funny about it. He's like, don't worry about it. You meet all these people. It's hard. Josh, I was able to utter about 4 words in French. I survived. That's there's no reason to worry. Everyone there, I think 99% of the people in probably Quebec are dual speaking. So they're a lot smarter than us dumb Americans who just know English. But yeah, I was definitely able to survive. I had my phrases ready to go. I did have one time where I went up to a table and I was looking down and I don't know, I was kind of spacing and the dealer was talking to me. And then I realized he was totally in French and he went for like 45 seconds and I just popped up and I was like, Anglais. And he just started laughing. So it was kind of funny. But yeah. So overall, great experience. I loved it. My pickups, I won't show them, but this is like my stack right here. It's like 20
Yeah, you got a haul.
That I got.
I was hanging out with a Gongshow Discord member and friend here in our hometown, Louis, watching the Timberwolves on Friday night, and he's mad at you because he seems to think that those are the only North Stars cards that exist, and now you own them all.
I started texting with him too. But, okay, so great experience overall. I loved it. It was actually, I was so glad I went. I would not be opposed to going back either. And the next show in the whole Sports Card Expo umbrella is actually Montreal again, October 4th to the 6th. And then Toronto is November 7th through the 10th.
So they're trying to go twice a year with with Montreal as well, huh?
Is Edmonton twice a year? Or is that once a year?
I don't know.
Actually, I need to go to that one now.
Of course you do. Yeah, I had FOMO. I'm sitting here like working on our show by myself. I'm all alone. Nobody loves me. And you're off having fun with all our friends at the Sport Card Expo. So yeah, I was happy about that. I did hear a couple things though. You ready?
Yes.
Do you have Eric Lindros PTSD?
Yeah, I was like, we were talking about that. It's like I don't know if I'm gonna be thrown out of this expo if anyone remembers that. And it was funny.
So you were a little worried about that. Did anyone recognize you? Did anyone make fun of you about French?
Oh, there's a couple. I mean,
you go incognito though.
Yeah, it's pretty incognito. I did have the hat on, but it's the old logo. But I did introduce myself to tables, and a lot of them said, "Yeah, we've heard, we listen." And one time, it was kind of funny. Phil was talking to someone, and because the guy recognized Phil, and then Phil goes, "Oh, do you know what Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And I'm like literally 5 feet away, and Phil's like, "Well, that's one half of them." And the guy looks at me, and I think he didn't even I made him wasn't looking at him. He's like, "Oh, really?" And Phil's like, "Well, I guess you were probably happy because you're kind of like incognito." But no, I was like, I was fine meeting people. I was introducing myself. But
how was the attendance? Was there a lot of collectors there?
Yeah, but it was Friday. I didn't talk to anyone yet about Saturday, Sunday, but Friday. It was great. Like personally, I could walk around, and getting into the show a little early was cool because then you could really walk around and see stuff. But then, at 3, when they opened the doors, there was a big influx of people coming in, but it never got to the point where it was wall to wall people or anything like that. But I'm guessing that's probably due to Friday. I'll have to see how Saturday and Sunday went. But
did you do any dinners on Friday night or any big time hobby events or anything?
No, there was supposed to be a dinner, but I didn't go because I failed miserably. It was I was so tired because I get there, and of course my flight, it's weird going into Montreal on the airline I take. Going into Montreal, there's one flight and it gets in at 11:30 at night. Leaving Montreal, that flight takes off at 6:15 in the morning. So I was scheduled to get in at 11:30. It got delayed 3 hours. I roll in about 2:45 a.m. So
what time did you make it your hotel then?
It wasn't that far. I mean, it was 3 a.m. maybe probably 3:15, 3:30 a.m. And then I was kind of jacked up. I didn't fall asleep like I should have. I got barely any sleep. I go to the show, and I could already tell, the minute I walk in, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to be tired." I can already tell I'm going to be tired. So I did not go to any hobby dinners. But then I get back to the hotel, and guess what? It's like, well, my flight leaves. I just need to be at the airport around 4 a.m.
So you decided to stay up all night again?
Yep, I did. I stayed up all night because I'm like, if I fall asleep, I'm done. I'll go right through the alarm and miss my flight.
You do it every time we go to Toronto too.
I know.
Do you ever sleep the night before a flight, or is that your thing?
I don't know. When those early morning flights, I'm so afraid I'll miss it, and I just don't want to miss it.
Okay,
So
not that you saw a lot of it, but I've always heard that Montreal is very beautiful. Can
it was
you confirm or deny that?
parts I was in was great. Laval looked very trendy, a lot of new
Mm,
construction of condos and really nice. My only complaint is on a lot of the roads I was on, they think that lane markings are optional, I guess. So I'd be on like
okay.
a 3-lane road driving and there's no lane markings. Now it's not hard to kind of guess where you're supposed to be, but then I saw a lot of construction, so maybe they're doing a bunch of stuff around the roads. But yeah, it was a great area I was in. There was a huge shopping area next to it. It looked really nice city.
Did you really drive by a fight on the side of the road?
No, that was a joke.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
No, I maybe saw one cop car pull someone over, but it was
Oh, really?
it looked like a really, really nice city. But again, I
Mhm.
have no context of Montreal or Laval and what's nice and
We
this
weren't
nice
there much, and you
neighborhoods.
were half asleep most of
No,
the time you
I
were there too.
wasn't, and I spent most of my time at the expo.
All right, Troy. Good report.
All right.
Way to rep the brand and skip on a dinner. That's all right. There will always be
I know. I
a
failed.
next time. Okay. Got to make a quick mention for Gong Show partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Very grateful to them for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live, ends this Thursday night. Oh, did you? You said you went and saw Slab Sharks right at the show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, you said hi to Sylvan, who was there.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that they were taking in a bunch of submissions as
They were
usual.
taking in submissions. They seemed, a couple times I went over there. They were busy working some deals, looking at some stuff.
Okay. And I don't think, Troy, I even have to say at this point that there's some monster hockey cards in this week's Slab Sharks auction, but I'm going to do it anyways,
Yeah.
Troy. There's monsters, as we both know. You and I this weekend both spent some time going through the auction, and we each picked out 3 favorites. You go first.
Yeah.
What are your 3
All
favorites?
right. So this is my first one. So we both selected an Otger. We didn't do the same one, thank God. But this is a 2020 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto Flop rookie out of 100. I think I love this card just more for the picture. I just love this picture. And I will say I'm trigger shy on Dallas patches or Dallas stuff after the whole kerfuffle with Ottingers and was there another player? Robertson's?
J-Rob and Anger, and I think 1 or 2 of them was a flop, but
yeah, this
one I feel a little safer about.
Yes, that's exactly why I put it on here because I feel safer with this. It's nothing crazy. I don't think anyone manipulated it, but there was a point where we were seeing a couple of those come through, and it's like but this one I really like the picture. Good auto.
Do you like when they have like the dots in the patch like that?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I
mean, it's the ventilation in the jersey, but
yeah, it's
I will
just a
say
different
this
part of texture or something like that.
Yeah, and I will say this is a horizontal card I'm okay with. Like usually I hate horizontal cards. This one I can live with. I like this one. Okay, second card. Ooh, I like this one. 51. Oh, Laval Dairy. It all comes full circle, baby. It all comes first. That wasn't even planned. So this is a number 76. Hector Toe Blake, PSA 4. It's one of those sets, like I say a lot, I don't know a lot about, but man, what a great looking card. We might have had this on one of our PWCCs or Slab Sharks or something where we went into like the set details behind it, but great looking card. Toe Blake, obviously.
No better dairy than Laval Dairy, Trey.
Laval Dairy all the way. So I love this card. And then finally, I went with this one. 2014 OPC Platinum Dominic Hasek, Platinum Legend, die cut auto, 1 out of 5, Josh. Again, love black cards, love the black border, love the just old school Buffalo jersey. Great auto. Heat and pads. What else do you want? I love this. Great card by Slab Sharks.
That is a wild card. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, it's worth everyone's time to go check this one out. It's 2014 OPC Platinum Legend die cut auto on this is like unique. Like I don't remember seeing a card quite like this one.
Yeah, this one's awesome. I love this.
All right, those are 3 good picks, Troy. Here's mine. First is a 2018 SP Authentic Connor McDavid black gold ink auto, super short print.
Look at that auto.
And kind of on it's an awesome auto. This is a really cool looking card. If you want
like smudge. No, that is awesome.
Perfect auto. It's kind of missing though. Have you noticed the devil's tail that he has on his signatures?
Yeah, times. Yeah, I know exactly what
Mhm.
you're talking about.
Mhm. And then the next one's a 2023-24 OPC Connor Bedard retro rookie PSA 10. A little bit of a vanilla card, but here's what I thought about this one. Like if you're priced out, like a lot of people are, on like a Young Guns PSA 10 or something like that, where I'm sure this is going to be a lot spendier than a typical OPG
Yeah.
marquee rookie, but it's kind of a nice alternative. And the pop is 163. It'll grow,
Yeah.
but it's a far cry from where the Young Guns PSA 10 is. And so I just think if you're looking for a little bit cheaper alternative, but a really nice looking Bedard rookie card, and that's just what you want to represent sort of this year in the hobby and what the Bedard rookie chase has been, that this is a good option in my mind. And then to jump on the Ottinger bandwagon, I took the Future Watch Auto. So you went with the flop. I went with the Future Watch Auto on a $9.99 PSA 10 from 2020-21 SP Authentic. Again, loved how he scrambled McDavid's brain in the first OT of game one. That was amazing. And then, of course, too, he's one of the best young goalies in the NHL. Well, like I said, Troy, there's thousands, and that's not an exaggeration. There's thousands of hockey cards available each week in the Slab Sharks weekly auction. So again, go to slabsharks.com for a link to the auction. And then if you're a Canadians hockey card collector, you should, in our opinion, consider Slab Sharks for their eBay consignment services. They make it easy to sell your cards. It's simple. They do all the work. You just give them your cards and they do all the rest. Plus, your cards get listed in one of the more popular hockey auctions each week that gets tons of eyeballs. So again, check out slabsharks.com for complete consignment info, including payout rates, and to start the consignment process today. Happy news!
Happy news.
Okay, the road to infinity. It's time to update on the road to infinity, where we're tracking with laser-like focus the rise of the Connor Bedard base Young Gun PSA 10 Troy. On Thursday's show, we were sitting just under 3,000 at 2,786. Now, the question that's been reverberating through the hobby since then is, could it, is it even possible for the Bedard Young Guns PSA 10 to 3,000 before the end of May? Well, today, Troy, we have the answer that I know you've been desperate to find out. As of the last update to the PSA 10 pop reports, the Connor Bedard base Young Guns PSA 10 now sits at a population count of 3,003, increase of 217 PSA 10 since our last show. You got to be pretty emotional about that, Troy. You want to let it all out and tell the hobby how you feel?
I'm glad they found more of those behind the the cupboards from the move. So some janitor probably turned them in, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, cray. 3,000 already. Well, check this out. There's now more Bedard Young Gun PSA 10s than Connor McDavid Young Gun PSA 10s.
Yeah.
There's
put in context though, like the print runs and stuff too. I know we want to like great.
Yeah, there is actually an important context point. So McDavid Young Gun PSA 10 pop count is 2,882. So 125 less than Bedard. But you have to consider with McDavid, there's also 7,778 BGS 9.5.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Good point.
Now, not sure if you knew this, Troy, but Bedard is not the only generational sports rookie to hit 2023-24 Hobby World. The young Victor Wembanyama was Rookie of the Year in the NBA, has been the #1 player graded by PSA for the past few months. So we're showing on YouTube a picture of Bedard, and isn't that just bad?
He looks like half the size of Wembanyama.
I was just going to talk about scrambling your brain. It's like, do you think that, and I don't think this is the case, if Bedard reaches up all the way his hand in the air, I don't think he could touch the top of Wembanyama's head.
I don't think so. He might have to like jump. You know what's the sad thing is? I've never seen Wembanyama play a basketball game. I've never seen a highlight of him.
Oh, he might have had the greatest NHL rookie or NBA rookie season ever.
Wow.
I don't think the other thing I thought was funny is look at the jersey swap. So like the Wembanyama jersey that Bedard is holding up is a dress.
It's like a muumuu. It's probably like just.
I'm pretty sure you would see Wemby's belly button if he tried on that Bedard jersey. They literally couldn't wear each other's jerseys. It's pretty funny. So yeah, he's Rookie of the Year in the NBA. I thought it'd be fun to do a little PSA 10 pop comparison between the two. And the thing that's tough though is that we know the Young Guns is a really unique card.
Yeah.
It's not quite a base card, but it's not super short printed either and super rare in of itself. And so I try to do some equivalencies with the Panini Prism cards for Wembanyama. Couldn't find a perfect match, but so I got info on two of them. The Silver Prism, which I think is more rare than a Young Guns. There's 1,632 Wemby Silver Prism PSA 10s. And then, Troy, this blew my mind. So to find out the information on Wemby, I wanted to find the pack odds of Silver Prisms, which were not on the checklist, which I thought was kind of weird. But it forced me to look up the 2023-24 Panini Prism basketball checklist.
Okay.
And just like in hockey, there's a base set, and then they list the parallels. Guess how many Prism parallels there are this year in basketball to the base set?
It's funny because Panini is the absolute king of parallels and all that, because I collect some wrestling once in a while, and Panini has the license right now, and I know that they have tons. My first number popped in my head, I'll say 30.
You're wrong. It's 63.
Wow. Holy cow.
I had to like scroll up the page to count them all on my big monitor here at my desk. It was crazy. So there was 1,632 Silver Prism PSA 10s, but then when you look at his base card PSA 10 pop count, Troy, 9,565.
Is that more than now? Here's my basketball hobby knowledge. Zion had the most PSA 10s,
like 20,000.
Right? Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
So he might catch him. I mean,
so it's like, what do we learn from this? Probably nothing.
I learned. I'm glad Upper Deck doesn't make 63 parallels for Young Guns.
Can you imagine doing our checklist overviews? I probably would just like pass out.
I'm done.
We're done with the show. I can't get past parallel 48. All right, well, here's kind of a cool concept that I saw based on a video, I think on Steel City had shared.
Yeah.
And it got me to reach out to Upper Deck. It's a card in the 2023-24 Metal Universe Champion set that was a redemption super short print. It's a Michael Jordan card. Do you have the video line?
I do. I'm gonna flip over, and then I think it's one of those that plays right away. So here we go. Oh, maybe not. Here we go. So it's on the screen.
It's called Gravitational Pull.
I don't know how it displays, but
it's a really interesting card concept where there's a card in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you pull it up and down, and right behind Michael Jordan, there's a background of the words gravitational pull, and it kind of gives like a motion effect, like it's coming up and down. I just thought it was like a pretty novel idea. And I think that G. McLeod, who was the PMG creator, now is back at Upper Deck, had something to do with it. Worked with Tony Sirianni on it. And I wanted to bring it up for a couple reasons, just because number one, again, I thought it was a cool concept. Secondly, get your input, Troy, if you like Upper Deck kind of pushing the boundaries on different ideas and stuff like this with cards. And then to ask you specifically, like on this concept, would you love to see it like in a hockey set, like have them put it in Metal Universe or something like that? Now, we know that occasionally hockey players do show up on the Metal Universe Champions checklist, which is unlicensed. In the gravitational pull set, though, there were no hockey players on it. So, I really wanted to just get your opinion of this. Did you think it was kind of as neat as I did?
I like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's different. I wish it could almost do the moving of the text without me having to pull on the little thing. But
pull down.
Yeah, but I love it. I hope, or I really do like it. I really like it. I still want. Remember in Upper Deck they did the.
You're gonna wait. Can I guess? You're gonna say the video cards, right?
Yes, I want the video cards back.
Yeah,
I want the video. I know they had those things. If you find them now, it's probably a 90% chance the battery's dead and all that stuff. But I just think we've got to be at a point with technology and how small we can get things that you can make a pretty cool video card that would be in there. Maybe a booklet or something. I think would be awesome.
What about the whole front of the card as a screen?
Oh, there'd be. And then do you have like a player autograph? I don't know. It'd be interesting. It'd be very, very weird.
Like a Phil Kessel of him just plowing hot dogs or something
just
like that.
Eating hot dogs. But back to this card, I do like it. I hope it comes to hockey some way. Now, I don't want it to say gravitational pull in the background for a hockey player. I'd be cool if they could do something with motion or a puck shooting, like a player shoot a puck or something like that. At first, I thought maybe it was a little gimmicky. The more I look at it, though, it's the idea and bringing it to life that I think I really like. And again, it's a different thing I haven't seen. So keep pushing boundaries, keep doing stuff like that, because that's the stuff that drives innovation. And it's hard when, I mean, I know this was in Metal Universe Champions, but with hockey, you know, Upper Deck has the NHL license. There's no competitors, so you got to keep innovating against yourself, basically.
First thing I thought of is just knowing my luck and my personality is I would be so excited to get it the gravitational pull thing to move. I'd probably start doing it too fast and it would get stuck and I would bend the card in half. Like 100% that would happen to me. Well, Troy, we have a very important update on the $2 million batch of stolen baseball cards. This update comes from our good friends at Media. Yeah, no vowels, so I don't know how else you say it. But remember a couple weeks ago, we detailed the $2 million of baseball cards stole from a Best Western in Ohio?
Yeah.
Because some genius at Memory Lane Auctions decided it'd be a good idea to ship them there in advance of the, I think, Strongsville card show.
Yeah.
Well, Troy, the police got their caper. 27-year-old Jacob Paxton was arrested at his home on May 23rd, and police were able to recover 52 of the 54 stolen baseball cards. I'm going to say, based on the photo of Jacob, I'm shocked he got caught, Troy.
Yeah, so I actually talked to, because the Strongsville show was run by Steve, owner of the Expo. And so he was kind of involved in what was going on because it was his show where the stuff was sent. And I think what it sounds like, it was probably internal job. Again, yes, very dumb. You got to remember, guess what this hotel has all over the place? Cameras.
Yep.
I don't think it took them very long once they pulled the footage to figure out what happened. And I'm sure this guy, I'm trying to be one of those guys that doesn't get caught up. I don't know his personal situation, whatever.
But based on the photo, he doesn't really have the criminal mastermind vibe going on.
Yeah, definitely. And you just got to remember, like, you got to pay your time and you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Once they probably started throwing, hey, guess what? This is a felony because of how much you took. And the years in prison you're facing, you might want to just admit to it. So yeah, it's one of those things. They found them. It sounds like it wasn't too hard. But again, don't ship $2 million worth of cards to a hotel front desk and expect to pick them up.
That was really not smart. Oh, I'm happy that most people are going to get their cards back.
Yeah.
Based on, again, the picture of our buddy Jacob here, hopefully none have bong water damage. Looks like that could be a possibility.
Very red eyes, but maybe it's something else.
He was crying. Would kind of suck too if you were like one of the owners of the 2 cards that didn't get recovered.
Yeah.
I would assume though Memory Lane will make those people whole.
They better.
I did hear wind or see on some reports or hear wind. Do you hear wind? I caught wind of that they were emailing customers and they're kind of giving well, we haven't been able to say anything because the police didn't want us to. They don't want to hamper the investigation. I really do want to hear their explanation of why in God's green earth they decided to mail.
I'm guessing they've done it in the past, right? They've probably done it in the past and it's worked brilliantly. Now this was the one time. I don't know if this is the first time they've spent or sent this much dollar value of cards, but I would, like I was talking to some people at the show about this. I'm just like, man, if I have that much that I need to get there, I am driving it and it's going to be me and another person and we are going to guard them with our lives, man. We're never leaving them in the car alone, all that stuff.
Well, you work at an airline. How much is an extra carry-on bag? Like $40-$50?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that.
It'd be cheaper than shipping it with insurance, $2 million,
sure.
right? So it's like taking an extra bag on the airplane.
Yep.
Come on. All right. Well, again, I'm glad that they were recovered.
Yes.
Hopefully justice will be served, and I really hope everybody gets made whole if you had entrusted your cards to Memory Lane Auctions. We had mentioned in our game plan, Troy, that, of course, today is Memorial Day here in the United States, a federal holiday, of course, where we honor and mourn the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. I tried to Google the equivalent for Canada, and the computer machine said their Memorial Day is like incorporated into Canada Day, which is July 1st.
Okay.
And then also there's a Remembrance Day, November 11th, where you
think the poppies? Is that the red poppies?
See the poppies.
Okay.
There's also Veterans Day in Sweden on May 29th, and I could have kept going and going because I do want to acknowledge that, yes, it is Memorial Day here in the U.S., but we have lots of people around the world that listen to our show, and in many capacities, people have served their country, and so we'll kind of try to tie that a little bit into it too. And I got to admit, these types of holidays like Memorial Day here are starting to hit a little bit differently for me personally. My son, Sam, is going to attend the University of Minnesota in the fall, and he'll study finance, but he's also taking part in the ROTC officer training program for the United States Army, and will serve in the Army after that. And so, yeah, it just kind of makes me, take on a little bit different perspective.
Yeah.
And so thinking about this holiday here in the US, I thought, well, it'd be kind of wanted to see like what NHL players had served their country, not just here in the US, but in Canada and other countries as well. And so we're going to highlight a few of these men, and we're wrapping some vintage hockey cards into it too. And hopefully it just as a way to, again, honor everybody that is to do better and serve humanity. Have sacrificed their own lives and their own professions to do something for the greater good. And so we're going to do that with the story of 3 players. It's 2 players and then a line. Okay. About that. So Troy, we're going to start with Hobey Baker. Do you know the story of Hobey Baker?
I don't know the full story. The only thing I know, it's given to the best college hockey player, and then high school actually has a Hobey Baker Award also. That's more the character-driven stuff, like service to your community and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's given to the Division I men's hockey player who best exhibits strength of character, both on and off the ice, and contributes to the integrity of the team and displays outstanding skill in all phases of the game. So, I think most of us are familiar with the award, but I'd never known who Hobey was himself or the origin of the award, and it's a pretty interesting story.
Do you want to know something? That award, I don't know if it's still there, the Decathlon Club of Minnesota's in Bloomington, Minnesota. I grew up literally 3 minutes from that place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that is cool. Yeah, so Hobey Baker was a Pennsylvania native and was considered, Troy, the first American hockey star by the Hockey Hall of Fame. His career began at St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire. St. Paul's, which was allegedly one of the first places to introduce hockey in the United States as well. Baker then went on to Princeton University, must have been a pretty smart guy, where he's said to have averaged 4 goals per game and was only penalized twice in his whole collegiate hockey career. He's probably best known for playing every second of a 73-minute game against Harvard, all while his teammates continued to sub in and out. That's crazy, huh? 73 minutes of ice time.
That's nuts.
What do you think a current player would they make it out of the arena on their 2 feet, or would they be hauled off on a stretcher? Probably?
Well, maybe our boy that we're used to here, Suter, right? He was eating up those minutes, but
throwing marshmallows. I saw him throw marshmallows the other night. So now this is an awesome Hobey Baker kind of fun fact. So here's an interesting tidbit about Princeton. Author F. Scott Fitzgerald also attended Princeton University at the same time as Baker. According to the New England Historical Society, Fitzgerald and Baker spoke while in school together, and Fitzgerald named the character Armory Blaine after Baker in his novel This Side of Paradise. The publication also goes as far as saying, and he probably thought of Baker when he described Tom Buchanan in The Great Gatsby. All
right, you're losing your Minnesota cred. You're always supposed to throw in there F. Scott Fitzgerald from St. Paul, Minnesota. We gotta take credit for all our people.
He's one of us, Troy. He's one of us.
One of us. I'm not. Yeah, one of us.
So after college, Hobey Baker was offered a contract to play for the Montreal Canadiens, but he turned it down, electing to fight in World War I and enlisted in the United States Army as a pilot in 1917. Hobey Baker then went on to fight in World War I as an Army lieutenant. He was a member of the Lafayette Escadrille, a French Air Force unit that was largely composed of American volunteer pilots. He has been credited with downing at least 3 enemy planes and survived the war. When the war came to an end, he insisted on one last flight before heading home. tragically, the plane crashed and he died at just 26 years old. It would be 63 years until the Hobie Baker Award was established. So, yeah, really never knew anything about that, and happy that we could shed a little bit of light on it. What's also kind of crazy, Troy, is that there's not really any hockey cards for Baker. It makes sense, actually, right? Because in the early 1900s, there's not college cards today. So there definitely was not college cards back then. And since he never made it to the NHL, he wouldn't have been in one of those early sets there too. One cool card of his, though, that I did find is this 2004-5 Upper Deck Young Guns Legend, where he's listed as a builder on the card. It has a PSA 10 pop count of 2, last sold for $76 US. Seems criminally low given his story and importance to the game, and actually you can get it raw for a couple of bucks. So if you want to just get a cool card for what seems like a fantastic player and contributor to the sport of hockey and a man who died honorably serving his country, then I might suggest that card. But it's very hard to find anything Hobie Baker related.
Yeah, even looking at TCDB, everything's like recently from the 80s and stuff, reprint, or not reprints, but just newish cards that they made. I would be curious. You think you could ever figure out a way to do a cut auto with Hobie Baker? That'd be kind of interesting.
That would be amazing. And then, well, and I literally, this happened while I think you were doing the Joe Juno greatest player. So knowing that I was good researching his cards, I did some on eBay and I found one of these Young Guns and exclusives out of 25 that a seller had listed for 90 Canadian, and I offered, I think, 70, the equivalent of $50, and he accepted the offer.
There you go.
And I paid for it. So I'm actually kind of happy about that, because I think knowing his story, that this is kind of a cool card to own. Okay, that's Hobie Baker. Now we're going to talk about a line. It's called the Kraut line, right? Which is I think a lot of people have heard of this. Very famous in the history of the game of hockey. The Kraut line was a trio of Boston Bruins in the late 30s and 40s, all from Kitchener, Ontario, who would play together on the same line, which was originally dubbed the Sauerkraut line, later shortened to the Kraut line. The line was made up of Milt Schmidt at center, left wing Woody Dumart, and then right wing Bobby Bauer. Now I did look up, because when I saw Bobby Bauer, I'm like, is this where Bauer hockey came from? No.
Yeah, I remember we've had him before, and we've looked him up, and I think but is his family? Was it like a brother or anything?
No, it said that he's not. There was London, Ontario, is where I think something like that, where Bauer hockey in 1927. So it was sort of around the same timeline. Now, the name Krautline was given due to the German descent of all three players and was coined by Albert Leduc, who played for the Montreal Canadiens. They helped the Bruins to win the Stanley Cup in 1939 and 1941. And Troy, check this out. In the 1939-40 season, the three players, so Schmidt, Dumart, and Bauer, were the top three goal scorers in the NHL.
Nice.
They kind of dominated for a period. But then after the 1941-42 season, each of the three put their careers on hold during World War II to serve in the Royal Canadian Air Force. Also, kind of makes sense, but interesting, at the time, there was some anti-German sentiment, as you can imagine, during the war. And there was a media campaign essentially to rename the line. And it was temporarily renamed to the Kitchener Kids to homage to their hometown due to that anti-German sentiment. After the war, the trio returned to the Bruins, finished their illustrious careers, and played a collective 1,900 games together with Boston. Wow. All three members of the Kraut line were inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So I have all three's kind of rookie cards here. Milt Schmidt's rookie card is the 1940 OPC V301-2. All-time high for this is a PSA 8 that sold for $2,700 US in 2017.
Are these like huge cards, like postcard size or something?
Yeah, well, but I think the previous ones are smaller, because Schmidt was in 1940 and Dumart and Bobby Bauer were 1939. So like Dumart is the 1939-40 OPC V301-1, where the all-time high is same size, I guess. PSA 5 that sold for $190.
And it says his name's Porky. That is
Yeah, this is
awesome.
nickname Porky.
Awesome. I love how they put Porky
Well,
on there.
it's awesome unless your nickname's Porky. $190.
Wow.
And then Bobby Bauer's rookie card is this from the same 1939-40 OPC V301-1 set. All-time high was a sale as a PSA 8, which sold for $611 in July of 2015. So that's a crowd line. Well, the last guy, Trey, we're going to honor, and honestly, I looked up so many that we could have probably done 50, and part of me would have loved to do that, but this would be a 40-hour show. We're going to talk about and feature Johnny Bauer. He was the guy on the first photo, which we'll get back to in a minute. I might have you. He's of course a Hall of Fame goaltender. Played in the NHL from 1953 to 1970. Yeah, keep here for a minute because this is really. He started his career at the Rangers, but played mostly for the Maple Leafs. Considered one of the greatest Leafs players ever. Also named in 2017 as one of the NHL's greatest 100 players. Won 4 Stanley Cups. Won the Vezina Trophy twice. Member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. But before his hockey career, Troy, he would serve in the Canadian Army and lied about his age and enlisted at 15 years old in 1940.
Is this his enlistment photo?
Yeah.
How could you look at this kid and be like, yeah, you're
18.
You're 18. Holy cow. I guess when you need bodies, you know.
He would serve with the Regina Rifle Regiment as part of the 3rd Canadian Infantry and fought in a combat role in the war.
Jeez.
Bauer's regiment landed on Juno Beach in Normandy on D-Day. I couldn't find anything that connected him to the landing other than just saying, because they didn't keep like who was doing what that day records, and I couldn't find anything talk of him personally, but his regiment did land on Juno Beach in Normandy on D-Day. He ended up suffering severe arthritis as a result of his combat experience, which would affect his hockey career later. And his rookie card is a 1954 Parkhurst Troy. Notable that his name is spelled wrong. It's spelled Johnny Bowers with an S, even though his name is Johnny Bauer. All-time high sale for this is a PSA 9 that sold for just $2,802 in 2015.
Seems low.
So that's it for a little vintage segment where hopefully we honored well men that not only entertained us fans playing the game of hockey, but also served their countries as well. And again, even though it's specifically our day here in the U.S. on Memorial Day, to think about the men and women who have lost their lives serving. If you listening have family members or you yourself have served for the greater good of humanity, we thank you for your service. It's kind of cool, huh?
Definitely. That was awesome. That might be a running bit every year, or a running segment every year. Probably.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
We had so many players, we just keep adding new ones to the list.
Ton of them. And not just through hockey, too, all throughout the sports world and all throughout humanity, right? Because, and it's crazy to how I always think about it was a choice. Like they said, no, I want to stop. It wasn't a draft that they, it was
I'm 15.
honorable.
I want to go on list. I think it's a different generation. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why they call it the greatest generation, right?
There you go.
Okay, we're going to move on to new product releases. Again, we're still in this little bit of a lull till Synergy comes out. There's no checklist yet. I assume we'll get it early this week, and then we'll talk about it probably on Wednesday or Thursday on our show. But I did think, though, now that we're about 2 weeks now since Trilogy came out, it was released on May 15th. So I thought it would be good to look at the top 5 early sales, which with any 2023 product, we can pretty much rename the top 5 early Bedard Trilogy sales, because we kind of know that that's what it's going to be. So we're going to look at those top 5 selling cards in each's respective top sale. Also, remember to have your pet spayed and neutered, and that any sale via eBay has been verified and spayed and therapy. You excited, Troy? You can't wait.
I'm excited to see the 5 Brock Fabers.
Yeah. Brock Fabers. All right, here's your top 5 early 2023-24 Trilogy sales. Button bar drum roll, please, Troy. Thank you. Okay, number 5. Coming in at number 5. I wish I had a Casey Kasem voice. On this week's top 40 here in the U.S., coming in at number 5 is the Connor Bedard Rookie Premier's Level 3 Red Parallel 49 Raw that last sold for $592 on May 22nd. That's bad. This would be the red parallel. Speaking of parallels, a lot of parallels in Trilogy.
Yeah.
Very intense. Bedsy here.
Yeah. But even his intense doesn't look that intense. It's still like you look like you look 18 years old.
Number 4 sale is the blue Rookie Premier's level 3 parallel out of 25. Again, with that blue steel look from Bedsy there. That sold for it did sell for $650 on May 29th. So a couple of parallels of the same card coming in at number 5 and 4. Number 3 is the Bedard Trilogy signature pucks in his Team Canada jersey. Raw sold for $1,393 on May 22nd. These aren't bad cards. I'm really not at all about the Team Canada stuff, but it's a nice looking card. Number 2 is the Bedard Trilogy Rookie Premier's Auto out of 49 level 2 raw. Sold for $1,700 on May 24th via eBay. Yeah, kind of I'm a run-of-the-mill Ricky sticker auto kind of thing. And then the number 1 selling Trilogy card to this point, Troy, Autofocus Bedard Acetate Auto Super Short Print Raw, sold for $4,100 via eBay on May 23rd.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this photo of Bedard, and I feel like he's like giving you the I'm taking your daughter to the drive-in movies tonight, and there's nothing you can do about it kind of look on his face.
Yep. Looks very suspect with his intentions.
Well, so I had that thought, and then I did the math. I'm like, he's 3 years older than my daughter. No, Connor, stay away.
Stay away.
Can't do it. Otto looks sort of faded too.
Yeah, I know you mentioned this in the notes. There's something's got to be done with those. They got to figure out a new way to get those to stick and be vibrant on acetate cards.
Partner up with Bic or something like that and figure out a marker that works well on acetate that lasts, or goes the. Maybe we should do that. Would that be a good business idea? Like
there you go.
Auto markers that stand the test.
I thought there was some spray they could do. I thought they did a spray.
Spray.
But
okay. Well, of those 5, Troy, which would be your favorite? Which would you want to own? Any of them?
See, this is where I'm not doing this to be just a dink or anything, but I don't like any of them. Like none of them I would buy myself. I guess I would like to see a better picture of this one because it's a little goldish, so that one might look okay. But again, I'm just not a big fan of any of them.
That's okay. You're allowed. Right? We all have our favorites. So
yeah.
All right. PWCC is a Gongshow partner and sponsor. We're grateful to them for their support of our show. Spent a few minutes, Troy, this weekend again looking at trying to do a sneak peek of the current PWCC Weekly that ends this upcoming Sunday, and I'm actually really excited about it. Last couple weeks, this has been getting better and better. So when you're early through these auctions, like most auctions, the bids start low. There's even a Wayne Gretzky Topps Gretzky rookie BGS 8.5. It was sitting at $11, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally bidding. So I just want you to know, Troy, that I don't know if I still am, but I was the current leader for this card at $16 whole.
Nice.
Can't lie, it feels good. Then I was like imagining, like, what if there was this? All right, I'm super weird, but everybody knows that who listens to the show. So I'm like, what if there's some like weird, like server meltdown or some crazy thing that happened where it like erased the auction or the auction had to stop and then they had to award whoever was leading the bid at the time. And then I would get the Gretzky rookie BGS 8.5 for $16.
I'm assuming any server malfunction negates the auction and they would have to just do it again or start
ruining my dreams. Stop. But again, there's lots of great cards. So remember to hit up the Fixed Price Marketplace as well. And then Jeremy Lee and I will be back at it this Sunday night for a PWCC hockey watch party starting at 8:30 Central on Jeremy Sports Cards live YouTube channel. Hope to see you all there, whether it's the weekly auction or the Fixed Marketplace. To vault, to get your cards graded, go to pwccmarketplace.com and check out everything they have to offer. Okay, strap on your helmet, Troy. Buckle up because we got a record time mailbag. Awesome questions again. We can do this, Troy. I believe in you.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay. First question from Discord, Wingfling. He says, maybe this is a question for Upper Deck here. Is there a reason why rookie cards from limited logo set are the only ones that are game worn? I mean, if Upper Deck acquires a game worn jersey from a rookie, they should be able to add those jersey parts on other cup sets as well, like signature patches, honorable numbers, etc. Good question. I feel like we've talked to them about this before, and we're getting to the point where we can kind of piece some answers back together, and we're inferring here because we get asked probably 17 times a week to ask Upper Deck questions, and of course we can't do that, even though a lot of them are awesome questions and we'd want to know the answers ourselves. But what I would guess here on this one, Troy, is we know that there's long lead production times on rookie cards, and that I think what Upper Deck has told us too, especially with the game worn jerseys as a rookie, that they would need them right away, but there's a lot of competition for those jerseys. The Hall of Fame might want them, the players and their family want them, the teams want them, and so they're really hard to get their hands on. And then because of turnaround, that they typically don't make it into rookie sets, and so that's why you get limited logos being one of the very few that will typically have them. And did that change with the last cup? I don't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
There's some changes with limited logos that we'd have to look up. But I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to that? Or
no, that's about. I mean, these questions. I would love to just get I wish Upper Deck would produce like a frequently asked question with all these specific questions like this. But yeah, that's I think the best we can piece together. Maybe Mitch might have a better answer or no more, but.
Can we get a contract with Upper Deck where we get to like interrogate them once a week? Where we put them in a room that has like, what is the glass called that you can't see on the other side?
Like the two-way glass or the part two,
yeah, two-way glass, and we sit at a table, even though neither of us smoke, with like a cigarette, and we like pound our fists and give us the answers. All right, next question from Instagram, Sasky. Hey boys, have not missed an episode. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Love the podcast. Thanks. I want to know your thoughts on 2021-22 Fleer Ultra Medallions. I've held the medallions and the PMGs side by side. In my opinion, the medallions are much nicer card. I'm curious to know your thoughts on these beautiful cards. Thank you. Keep up the great work. You got an answer, Troy?
I just thought of something like, or if this was like the person that designed the medallions. But no, thank you for the kind words. Love it. I am also a huge fan of Fleer Ultra Medallions. I think they're very cool. And I actually like them also better than PMGs, as I have stated many times. I'm not the world's biggest PMG fan. And I will say this too. The medallions, and this is going off the rails a little bit, but the Fleer Ultra Avengers set that came out a year and a half ago, I bought a couple boxes and got some really cool looking medallions. They look really awesome in hand. Nice. And the hockey ones are the same way. I think they look really nice. So I agree 100% with this guy. Guy, gal, or person. I'm all for Fleer Ultra Medallions. I like them.
Did you keep the ones that you pulled or no?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I still have them.
I'm a huge fan. I've not so much like super recently, but I probably bought 20 now. I like the gold and platinum. I just think that
you were on ComC, right? Scooping them up.
I want to say 9 Clayton Keller gold medallions for under $20.
Dude, I'm telling you, the more I dig around on ComC, if there's base or just, lower end stuff that you want, you can get it crazy cheap on ComC.
Next question, Facebook, Marek Zhenak. Why do Gretzky All-Star Game auto patches go so high? Collectors usually prefer the club memorabilia, but in particular, Gretzky's case seems to be quite the opposite. Why? Yeah, I don't know if I like completely agree. Maybe there's some stuff that you're seeing that I'm not, but in general, I believe that Oilers, Kings, and Rangers game used patches especially would sell for more than All-Star Game. I think that there's so very few, and that we just don't see that many. Like you look at like the Gretzky limited logos game used from like the Oilers, those are impossible to get because nobody that has one will sell it, but they go for just crazy money. There's also the case too of the 1997 game used patch auto from Upper Deck that does have the All-Star jersey, and that sells for a ton of money. And you see those, I think there was more of them. I can't remember what it's out of again. If it's out of like it, but those are kind of known to be the first Gretzky game use patch auto cards. And so I think that they carry a premium because of that. But then I would say too, in general, Troy, that anything that's Wayne Gretzky, whether it's All-Star or team-ish jersey that's game used especially, is going to go for crazy money.
Yep. Plus it's Gretzky. Just Wayne.
It's Wayne. Facebook, Andrew, how do you say his name?
Is it high? Is the S silent?
Andrew High, Andrew Sai. Sorry, Andrew.
Listen,
let us know how to pronounce your name. So because you've asked a few questions, and I hate not being able to do that.
Like multiple consonants, right? There's like they're mostly silent. Something's got to be silent.
Mm-hmm. Why are players like Kucherov valued so low in the hobby, and why didn't he get rookie autos and patches 2013-14, same year as McKinnon? So there's two parts of this question, and the first part is we've asked this literally the same question ourselves since the show started, and I don't know if we have much better insight 2 years down the road, other than there's the Russian factor, whether you believe that or not, if that hampers a player's marketability. He plays in Florida, which we call the Bermuda Triangle of the hockey. He was a second round pick and didn't have a lot of hype, but overall it doesn't make much sense, right? But we know, I guess, the hobby values hype more than production, and so maybe that's as simple as that. Now, the second part was really interesting because I hadn't realized that there are no rookie RPAs for Kucherov. And it's really like, if you go look at all his top sales and then you go look at the cup, other than some like artifacts printing plate, he's not even in the cup.
Yeah.
For 23-14. So I was like, oh, that's really crazy. Why isn't he? Well, it comes back to the Russia thing. So he was drafted in the second round of 2011, and kind of it seems like from what I understood, sort of those circumstances where nobody knew if he was coming. Then he shows up at the start of 23-14. Again, didn't have huge expectations, so he went to the AHL first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing by the time he made it to the NHL, there was no time for Upper Deck to get him into, because memorabilia and auto pieces take a lot longer.
That's crazy.
He did get into Young Guns. But yeah, you're right. There are no rookie patch autos.
Yep. And he will be a Hall of Famer. And it's crazy. And just, this isn't a correction, but just, we know he plays in the state of Florida. We know he's in Tampa Bay, but just not, he's in the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, not Florida Panthers.
I just want to make sure people don't think Panthers.
Anything to add to that?
Sounds about right. It's about what I could come up with too. We've looked at him so many times and we just shake our head every time we see the values. I mean, he's over a point per game player. He's going to get to 1,000 points probably in the next 2 years. Maybe next year if he goes has 127, looks like he needs, and then he'd be over 1,000.
He's done it already, right? Instagram, JB Hockey Cards. Do you guys think Upper Deck should have Young Guns photo variations outside of UD Canvas? This would be a regular Young Guns design, just with a different picture, like an SSP or something like that.
So it's definitely an option. It's always on the table for them. I think it would muddy the water with the Young Guns. I think right now I would almost look at this canvas as that kind of photo variation. I don't think we want. Young Guns is one of those cards where you don't want to touch it too much, but they have, and there's 5 or 6 parallels right now. We don't want to get into the Panini where we have 20 parallels. It's always an option if it's one more thing, but I kind of look at the canvas as the photo variation a little bit.
I agree with you. I think that kind of like they did with the new configuration, they're almost at the point where they need to, if you're going to add something, you need to take something away. So you would just to not get too many options. And so it's like, what would you take away in that case? Like a deluxe maybe, but they're not going to do that because they just added it.
Yeah.
Instagram, Toronto Mega Collector. I've always wondered why Upper Deck doesn't use more alternate third or retro jersey patches. A good example is the Leafs Bieber jersey. The team has used it many times now, but I've never seen a single one used in a card yet. I wonder if it's a cost or availability issue.
I think it's completely an availability issue. And I don't know if this is the case, but maybe there's an agreement with the NHL on what can be used in cards, what jerseys can be used in cards. Also, I'm pretty sure when you talk about these alternate third retros jerseys, a lot of times these are like special jerseys, and you'll see them, they're auctioned off for charity
Mm,
and different fundraisers by the
yep.
team. And so they might not even be available for Upper Deck to purchase and put them in cards. I think that's probably a pretty big reason why we don't see a lot of them, is I think they're actually sold by the team to raise money for charities.
Yep. You're probably right. And I hadn't factored into that the fact that they do auction a lot of them off, but you're 100% correct there.
Yeah, I mean, we see them at the Wild games all the time. The retro North
Yep.
Star ones are always up for auction. You can buy them to raise money for the
Do those
Wild
go for a
charity.
lot, or are they more
I would
affordable?
assume so. I think they do.
Mhm. Okay. Instagram Power 14. What's going on with the Bedard Outburst 101
Oh,
gold? How has it not been found yet?
I pulled it. I just have it sitting here. It's in my. No, I'm just kidding. So we don't know. We'll say this: we're not aware of it being pulled. Now, who knows? Maybe someone did rip it, and they just don't want to let the world know and are keeping it because they don't care and that they're a collector. Or you can go the conspiracy route that someone pulled it, got the million from David Adams, and then made sure no one knew about it. I don't buy that one, but we have messaged that every once in a while, and that's what people think has happened, but I don't think so. My guess, it's probably still sitting in a hobby box waiting to get pulled. And I saw a video, and I forgot what the card was, but it was an old, like a card from the 90s, a 101 of some famous player, maybe basketball, that just got pulled.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
been sitting in a box forever. And there's people that buy cases and they throw them in the closet to resell later. It could be sitting in one of those, but nothing that we've seen says it's been pulled, but you never know.
I think a lot of people are stashing wax on this product.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably right. Next question, Instagram Tapper30. Any love for the Carolina Hurricanes? Does it increase with the Stanley Cup? I just don't think that they have a star.
Yeah.
They're a really good team made up of really good players, but no superstar. And that's what really is required for a hobby chase. And we saw with the Vegas Golden Knights, it didn't really affect anybody's hobby market.
Yep.
Maybe outside of 2 weeks afterwards winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Plus, Carolina's not a hockey hotbed. It's definitely got a lot of hockey fans. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the crazy Canada hockey market. So that actually affects it too. I like Carolina. I picked them to win the cup last year, and they didn't do that. But there may be a little bump, but nothing crazy.
Instagram Puckeye Hockey. I've been on the Whatnot app recently. I've noticed a lot of big card hunters dumping quality mid-low level cards on the cheap in order to create a steady stream for the big dollar chases. How much of the current hobby market do you think is being influenced by the seller approach? The pro benefit is definitely in the favor of the buyer because I bought a number of mid-level numbered patch autos for well below market and auctions. Thanks. I have not been on Whatnot a ton. I typically do it to kind of research and watch breakers.
Yeah.
I've never seen this approach, but you have me with cheap hockey cards, so maybe we'll have to check it out.
Is this like a single stream? Is that what it's talking
I would
about?
assume. I think that's what.
Which makes sense. I mean, if you start ripping and ripping and ripping, you eventually are going to need to sell those cards to recoup some of the cost. And with a breaker, and I guess with the Whatnot platform, it's probably a whole volume thing over pricing. Sure. You just need to get more volume and get money in. But yeah, and I definitely agree. I've seen some monster breaks coming up that are out there that if you really want to spend $700 on a break, you can do it. There's some big ones.
All right, Twitter X Sebastian Engelhardt. There's been a lot of hobby drama. Recently in some other trading cards regarding investors. Many hardcore collectors think that pure investors ruin it for kids collectors and have no place in the hobby. What's your take on people in the hobby purely in it to make money?
So my take is that it's a free market, and if you want to come into the hobby and try to make money, by all means, have at it. I don't think they should be stopped. And again, I always look at this too when I hear this. It's like at the end of the day, an LCS is in the hobby to make money as well. It's not like they're this altruistic thing. So remember, your local card shop also needs to make money. However, when things start getting popular, obviously prices start increasing, boxes starting going up. We started with the team with Bedard, where a lot of kids or new collectors are probably outpriced the Bedard market. like with Series 2 for how expensive those boxes are.
Mhm.
And this is where card manufacturers need to step up and help bring in lower end products to some kind help those newer market or newer collectors and kids. But I don't, the wording in the question that pure investors ruin it, I don't, and have no place. I don't agree with that. They do. It's just there's investors, collectors, flippers. That's how we kind of looked at it, those three areas. And I think if they want to try to make money on it, go for it.
I think the concept of being a flipper was much more feasible in that era during the pandemic when everything
Yes.
was going up and you could buy stuff and just reasonably, like, if you did it halfway intelligently, you could reasonably make money. I think today, though, in order to make money in the hobby, you have to really understand the hobby at a very deep level that I think
Yeah.
you only get to that point if you really love it and you want to learn all about it. You can't just I also believe, Troy, that people often maybe make the mistake of that investors coming in and paying an insane amount of money that they're most often, I think, at this point losing money.
Yeah.
They're not making money. They're just coming in, setting new all-time high sales.
Well, they'll tell you they're making money, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense how the market's working.
Because I think the cards today that make money in this hobby, you are not the obvious ones, are the ones that after years of study and the love of just learning and collecting that you start to
Mm-hmm.
understand. Discord, just
Great
hockey
question.
cards. Do
Yeah.
you think all grading companies will eventually have to adopt AI solutions like Tag? If so, do you think that puts Tag in a good spot to white label their tech and lease out? I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Just want to make one quick note is that Tag
Yeah.
is not AI. It's a machine helped, but
Yeah.
true artificial intelligence is nowhere. There's no hobby company that uses it.
Yeah.
It would cost hundreds of millions of dollars to implement.
Yeah. And it's a great question. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think some technological solution will need to be adopted. There's just too much variability with human graders. And
Mhm.
we see so many different examples of cards and grades and how it doesn't look like this grade and that stuff where the human, we've talked about this 100 times. Human might have a bad day, human might miss something, all that fun stuff. And there's the problem of PSA slabs and how many there are, and people are incentivized to keep PSA propped up to get the best research value or resale value. So right now, I keep thinking if any technological solution happens, it's probably got to come from PSA at some point, and either through leasing or buying the technology or creating their own. I don't know. I like Tag. I really like Tag and what they're doing. I'm not a big grader though. I don't use them, and I don't use any of the grading companies barely. And does that mean PSA could be the king forever? I don't know. Remember BGS was the king at one time, and then they aren't anymore. But we got to keep remembering too. PSA grades 1 million cards a month, Josh. 1 million cards a month. There's so many PSA slabs out there that it's like the hobby's incentivized to keep them propped up. And I know I went off on different tangents, but at the end of the day, yeah, something technological probably has to be done. But it has.
You wonder if PSA is at that point where they're too big to fail.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think Keith, just hockey. By the way, great YouTube channel. Check out his stuff. Really fun, entertaining videos. I think there has to be some sort of company, whether it's Tag, who I like as well, or PSA, that you're on track with the main point of consistency and grading. I've gotten to the point of PSA where I have zero confidence that there's any consistency. There just can't be. If it's human graded, to your point, they grade 1 million a month. They don't. There's no 4-year degree in card grading, and
No.
they're to grade this many. They're hiring Joe Schmoes off the street, paying them $17 an hour or something like that, and teaching them how to grade cards. And we're counting. We have thousands of dollars on the line when we send them to that. The more the time that goes on, I believe you want a PSA 10, just keep submitting your card, and eventually you'll get one.
Eventually get it.
Discord KMM. As somebody relatively new to super short print cards, can you please help me understand something? The Sign of the Times checklist from 2020-21 SPA lists 41 cards with various odds to pull various cards. If you pull in these players, does it mean you own that single card? or are there multiples of that card? In other words, it's not like a 101, right? Super short print is a loose term. It's a vague term. It's intentionally vague on Upper Deck's part. They don't, for whatever reason, they want to keep a little bit of a allure or mystery around that. And so different people have different definitions, but I would say 20 or less is a safe bet. I think the hobby like generally says like 10 or 5, but when I think that because of cards that get thrown away or never opened, that I always seem that there's probably a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think, Troy?
No, I agree. And I'm kind of looking at his example. I looked at that checklist and I see what he's saying. I couldn't find the 41 cards. I found more for Sign of the Times, just the regular Sign of the Times in 2020, 21. And it will say the odds to pull it are, I think they were in groups, right? Group A, Group B, Group C. Group A might be 1 in every 10,000 packs. Group B, 1 in every, I don't know, we'll say 500 and some packs.
But then it'll say like Connor McDavid SSP. And it'll have a tougher odds than.
And we don't know the print run, right? So if we can't back into what the print run is or what the actual number is, but yeah, like you can kind of use that stuff to get you. But I like your definition where you kind of less than 25. Is that what you said?
Something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's a 101. If it's a 101, it will say 101 on it.
Oh, they'll let you know.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
Instagram, Bearded Wax Rips. When do you think 2022-23 the cup will be released, and when will we start catching up on releases? Well, the Upper Deck keeps that date locked down about 2 weeks before the release comes, or maybe a month, though, at some. Usually it's at, what is it, one of the distributor conferences or something like that. It'll start to leak, and it'll start to see pictures, and then it'll come out. Now, 2021, the cup came, I think, December 15th of this year. I think it'll be a little quicker than that. I'm guessing somewhere in the fall. Maybe my guess would be around the Expo. And then you're asking, like, will we start getting caught up on releases? I think by and large we are. I'm wondering, and I don't know if this was even intentional, Troy, but I kind of like it that releases are staggered a little bit, because it's really helped with the 2022-23 class being a little bit meh.
Yeah.
And not so interesting because if we have like a bad rookie class and it's 12 months of that year's releases and that's all we get, that could get rough.
Yep.
So I almost think it's better to be in this sweet spot where it's not like when they were coming out once a week, it was too much. But I feel like we're in a pretty good groove now. What do you think?
I agree. I can't wait. We talked about this a little bit on last show too. I think I like where we're at right now with the release schedule. Again, I have no idea when anything comes out. Half the time I get the press release and then I'm just surprised when it comes out a week later because I can't remember anything. But patience, soon. Every answer, when's it come out? Soon.
Soon, Grasshopper.
Soon.
Facebook, JVD, modern versus vintage, a better investment, ? A broad topic, but maybe a dive into it. Yeah. We could do about 50 shows on this. It would be fun. I love the topic. In one sentence, 2 sentences, here's my answer. We'll see if you agree, Troy, or not. Vintage is safer but slower. Modern is way riskier, but you can get quick wins.
It's 100% accurate. Modern will always be more riskier, but vintage Hall of Famers. There you go. Safe and slow.
Instagram, 502 Sports Cards. Is Leo Carlson a good investment? Well, he's pretty cheap right now. So we'll start there. He fought injuries, inconsistent play. He's also on a lousy team this year, but he did have some bright spots in his rookie campaign. Will he be a superstar that will command big-time hobby values? I think it's way too early to tell. Way too early. But because of an uneven year, he'll be decently cheap this summer, especially if you want to take a chance on him. So there could be a lower risk chance, but with any prospect to say it's a good investment is tough because we don't know how their career is going to pan out. And very few of these guys, they all come in hot, but very few remain hot 2 years down the road.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, which is not a lot of Leo Carlson, I actually am pretty impressed with him. I think he's over a half a point a game per player for when he did play. So we'll see. He's got a good chance.
He's
got all the
young.
tools, Josh. He's got all the tools that we talk about. So
He's a 5-tool player, Troy. 5 tools. That's baseball. What do they call that in hockey?
I don't know. They just skating, shooting, stick handling there.
Hockey IQ. Every scouting report. Hockey IQ. Instagram, the J-Man 629. We all know Bedard is the chase for 2023-24 products. But what are the next top 5 rookies to grab? 4 are really easy. Carlson, Cooley, Fantilli, and Luke Hughes. It's pretty much unanimous, I would think, throughout most of the hobby. Then I think, Troy, it's take your pick between our Golden Gopher, Matthew Nyes, our Minnesota Wild player, and Golden Gopher, Brock Faber. And then maybe a couple goalies, Devin Levi, Dustin Wolf. Did I forget anyone?
Probably, but I'm not going to remember who they are. Faber's the one guy I always look at because he was on the Wild, but man, I feel like he's just going to be an assist machine for a while and then never get much love.
Next one is a great question from Facebook and Dan Stevens, and we have a little picture here.
Yeah.
Does an uncard auto that ends up going off the card depreciate the value of the card? You got the picture of his example that he sent?
Right here. So you can see at the bottom. Here, I'll zoom in even farther.
It's a Kirill Marchenko.
There we go.
A really nice looking card. I don't know about you, Troy, but I think it does definitely affect the auto or the value in a negative way because collectors are very picky, and it's a bummer when something like this happens.
Yep, agree 100%. Definitely affects the value. Now, you might find the right person that does not care, and they just want it for their collection, and it's a lower, maybe it's out of 5 or something like that. Is this one, what's this out of? Anything? 20, 15? I mean, maybe for the right person, but yeah, it definitely would affect value.
Okay, next question. Facebook, Martin Shagrath Yankovic. After 12, 13 years, I returned to collecting hockey cards. Well, welcome back, Martin. I have a question about Be a Player and in the game cards. For example, I'll use this card, a 2002-3 Be a Player memorabilia All-Star teammates, Yager, Matt Sundin. Do you have the picture of this one too?
Oh, shoot. What did I do with it? Oh, I got messed up in my thing here. Yeah.
It's stamped 101. He also said that there's a Vault 101 version, and there was some sort of checklist that had a print run of only 75 cards made. And so he's wondering, basically, which it's a good question, is like when you have something like that, like a card is, and there's a 101, does it additive? Does it mean that there's more than 75 cards, or does that include the 75 cards? It's a really good question. This set was old, and there's not a lot of information on it. Martin, try to look it up a little bit. It looks like, too, that this was produced around the Expo for some of these cards, where, again, the info gets a little squishier there, too. And so I can just give you, like, in general scenario, if a card is out of 50 and then there's a 101 parallel, it's typically additive. So that means, in that case, there would be 51. The one exception, though, of course, or maybe not the only one, but one common exception would be PMGs, where they're typically out of 100, where the first 10 are the green PMGs, and then the next 90 are the red PMGs, but all are out of 100. You have a unique case that would require probably a few more hours of research than we have time to do.
Yeah, I apologize. I can't find the picture. I looked in our drive. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. But sorry. I'm sorry for not putting the picture out there, but I agree with you. You did more research on this than I did.
All right, Facebook, Jamie Major. Should Series 1 and 2 packs have 1 to 2 base cards per pack and then more cheaper inserts to make the base set have actual value? I think that's a very interesting idea. I also believe set collectors would storm the gates at Upper Deck, and I'm not sure they want to rock the boat to that degree. But to his point, though, Troy, or her point, Jamie, it's hard to tell. What percentage of Upper Deck flagship base cards do you think just get thrown away?
A lot. Just think about breaking. They don't even send you base anymore. You have to go out of your way to get it. And
some of those big breakers must throw away hundreds of pounds of base.
Well, either throw it away or give it away.
Donate it. But even at some point, you can't. The big guys have so much that you can't even donate it. Right?
Yeah,
it's like
agree.
Too much to manage.
Well, think about our first Toronto Expo. We would see base cards left all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All over the place.
At those tables.
Go in the trash.
Facebook, Adam Slesser. You guys talk about PSA and Beckett, but haven't said much anything about CGC grading, and yet they are becoming the best graders. Your opinion? Well, best graders is subjective, but I have heard a number of opinions that shared, I think, Adam's viewpoint, Troy, that CGC is consistent and that I think their pedigree and who they've hired to lead grading is generally thought of very highly. So I share that they do a good job grading. The biggest reason why we don't talk about them more is they just hardly grade any hockey cards. I looked again based on this question at the Gem Rate April report. They graded 600 total hockey cards last month compared to 44,200 at PSA. Yeah. So they're not super relevant. And especially if we want to understand the market value, most players will have maybe one or two or maybe zero sales examples. So it's really hard from that perspective to get them into the conversation. But if it's for your PC, I think it's a great choice.
I think it's also, if you want to go the route of you think they are good graders, which we have no reason not to believe it. I think they actually are. Seems like they're a pretty decent company. Hey, you find some 9.5 that you think look like 10s, crack them and submit them to PSA to get more resale value if you want to go that route. It's a dangerous game playing that, but if that's something you're interested in.
You love to play dangerous games, Troy. I know you. Facebook, Brian Spadaro. Has anyone seen Austin Matthews' inked insignia? It's listed as 2020-21 update on the 2021-22 Cup checklist. Does UD list cards and checklists that never actually hit circulation? And do they ever update or confirm cards that have actually been produced or circulated? I would say in general, Brian, if it's on the checklist, it's been produced. But that being said, Upper Deck has made errors. And I did go to the checklist and the card's out of 25. And I went through card letter sales history, found nothing. I went to eBay to see current listings, found nothing. So I agree with you. It's a little suspicious that given normally any card out of 25, you can find one example of. I suppose it's possible that either people pulled them and just PC'd them or they're still sitting in boxes. But do you agree, Troy, at this point, the fact that zero seemed to be on Card Ladder or currently on eBay, that's a cause for pondering?
Yeah, definitely cause for pondering. I'm not sure, though. I never know some of this stuff if they are just sitting in boxes, but if you don't see any of them out of 25, it's probably weird that there's no sales.
Okay, Discord, Ojibwe86. He always has really good questions. He said the NBA logo is a silhouette of Jerry West. The MLB logo is supposedly a silhouette of Harmon Killebrew. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
The Killebrew one?
Yeah. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed 100%, but that's the running thought on it.
If you had to pick a player's silhouette for a new NHL logo, who would it be? I would pick Bobby Orr flying through the air after being tripped. It's such a memorable goal and a moment in hockey history. I agree with you. It's probably the most iconic hockey photo of all time. I would think, though, Ojibwe, that you'd have to go with Wayne, wouldn't you? I mean, and then the other thought I had is, do we know who the silhouette is who is holding I feel like somebody told us on the Cup hockey product.
That's what I was exactly looking up right now, because that's, to me, that looks like Gretzky, but
yeah, I can see the NHL doing something like that if it's a silhouette, like holding up the cup, like in the Upper Deck, the Cup logo. Anything to add?
Nope, that's what I got. I thought it was Gretzky holding the cup.
Discord, T. Olson going right to the hobby fields, but he's one of us, Troy. We know that. He says, "Why do I hate the Dallas Stars?" End of sarcasm. Well, T. Olson, if I can speak on behalf of you and then maybe Troy too, and the rest of Minnesotans for a second, I don't think it's that we hate the Dallas Stars per se. We hate Norm Green, who was the dummy owner of the North Stars that moved our team away. And then we hate the fact too that somebody, and you can't even, the governor, I don't know who here, did not have the foresight to keep our team name and colors, which I think burns me almost more than that day.
Well, we just got a Discord. It was either Discord or Instagram. We got sent something about
Discord.
it. Like, it was a new YouTube video. I don't know if it's a documentary or what it is. It just said why the North Stars moved or something.
I'm going to watch it. It was 18 minutes long, and I saw it but I didn't have 18 minutes, but I'm definitely going to watch that. Discord 86 collectibles. Great question. Now
I do have this picture. Okay,
I forgot to add it. I'm sorry.
No, you had it.
I just didn't put in the notes.
We got a little something got wonky with the mailbag questions.
Okay.
How they were like, there's a couple missing that are way at the
Oh.
end for some reason. I don't know what happened, but whatever.
Well, there's so many of them. I got my wires crossed. He says, which way do you guys, because he posts this in Discord,
Yeah.
load your horizontal cards? And he gave an example of two, looks like Crown Royal from Panini. I prefer, he says, the Forsberg example. So he has Forsberg on the left, and then who's that on the right? Is that Fedorov? Sergei Fedorov. So I agree with Bobby on the Forsberg. Now, how he puts the left edge down on a horizontal card so that the text is going up.
Yes.
That's the way I do it.
That's the way I do it. And I can't remember who said this, but I agree with them. You can't trust anyone that does it on the right way.
Criminal.
The side on the right-hand side of the picture. You can't trust
Sociopaths.
Yeah. That's right. Psychopaths do it like that one. So left way, Forsberg example.
That's how the FBI for psychopathy. Discord, the niche hockey cards. Our 2022-23 Parker's Champion card prices on the secondary market gaining momentum. It feels like auctions for the more limited cards, such as the Patch Autos, 51 Retro Rainbows, and Gold Rainbow, SP Rookies, and Legends, are attracting a lot more bidders. A comparison to top Parker sales for April and May may be required to answer this question. So I did look quickly. Of the top 10 sales so far, 2 were in March when it came out, 4 in April, 4 in May. So that doesn't tell us. Yeah. I don't think in general, and there hasn't been even a sale of $1,000 that this set is lighting the world on fire, which I'm okay with because I love it so much. I'm happy that it's affordable. I think it's a great collector's set. I wouldn't be surprised, Troy, if 5 years from now that some of these cards take off, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't either. You know,
I can tell you this. I think it's selling a ton because we have a friend trying to find it and it's hard to find. And at the Montreal Expo, there was only maybe 3 tables that had it, and 2 of them got bought out. I know for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
By our friend?
No comment. But I'll say, I mean, we were talking about it. It's like, listen, yes, you can get some dud boxes, totally, but for the Kobe, for the price point, 120 US or whatever. Actually, it's cheaper than that now. It gets down to like 95 US if you find it. On-card autos, game patches. It's got some good stuff in it for a pretty reasonable price. But again, yes, you might hit some dud boxes. But
Kobe Puppy's a big Parker's Champions fan, or there's a squirrel outside the window. We'll let you guys decide. All right, Discord, Cigar Scott. Long-winded question rant for you two. Why and how did eBay comps become the sole measure of a card value? To me, it's too chaotic, time-consuming. There are countless other selling platforms that aren't being looked at and doesn't factor in reasons why a card sold for such a low or high amount. Did the seller take a super lowball offer since they're desperate for rent money? Did somebody score a $100 card for $3 in an auction that flew under the radar? On the flip side, did a collector grossly overpay on a card needing to complete their PC? The car industry uses Kelley Blue Book to value used cards, but would a dealership sell a $20,000 card for $5 just because someone sold a comparable card to a family member as a favor, so on and so forth? Right. So he's basically wondering, like, you know, maybe starting from frustration, Troy, that it's becomes seen as an absolute where, you know, I think we have to remember that comp is short for comparable. It's not absolute. And, you know, he goes on to say too, he's like, to me, using my Beckon Online subscription avoids the nonsense and is marketplace agnostic way to determine values and is much faster, especially if you're pricing tons of cards at once. Am I a dinosaur for clinging to Beckett? I understand his point. One of the reasons why we use Card Ladder is because it uses like 19 sources.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just rely on eBay. And then, of course, it is a comparable. The problem I've always had with Beckett is I don't understand where their price values come from.
Yeah.
Right? We can see an eBay sale. We can see that somebody paid $342 for this card. When I look up a Beckett online price guide or Beckett magazine and it says a card's worth $87, I have no idea what the formulary was that they used to come up with that. So, and I don't like that fact, but yeah, people do use it too much as an absolute. And I think that's just
Agree.
up on us as a buyer or a seller to not fall into that trap. And then it may cost us some deals because we may not be able to, if there's been 8 sales of a card for $100 in the last 2 months, and then there was a weird auction that ended at 2:30 in the morning, and somebody bought it for $23,
Yeah.
and someone wants to buy your card, that same card, for 23 instead of 100, then just don't sell it to them.
Yeah. Well, eBay is always going to be weird because it's basically the best we have. If you're only a single source person, you don't have a card ladder subscription. You just want a single source. It's back or BGS. God, excuse me. eBay is what we have, and you can go into Teradata to verify the sales. And I think also because of the volume of sales, I mean, they sell millions of cards go through eBay. And that's what we want. We want lots of history, lots of transactions to find that pricing where it's settling. I agree, though. Sometimes you get those weird situations, and that just happens. And it's not like the stock market, right? There's not billions of trades happening every second where we get a price point exactly. So I think eBay just right now is the best we have for the biggest platform. Yes, there's a lot of other platforms out there. You mentioned kind of with Card Ladder, you can get a lot of them into one thing, but again, it doesn't cover all of them. And the whole BGS thing is like, yeah, I don't know what BGS does. Like BGS book value, I don't know how they determine that. I can't believe they look up every card every all the time. And
you're right though, that it's not the end all be all because it doesn't cover card shows or in-person sales or anything like that. Instagram, Matt Sodal. Curious your thoughts on 2015-16 Upper Deck Full Force. Was it released as a single year standalone for McDavid's draft? Do you know why it was immediately discontinued? I know it was released because of McDavid's, the anticipated demand for Connor McDavid. Who knows why it wasn't continued? I would have to assume that as a for-profit company, that it was either too costly or to produce, or it didn't sell well enough for Upper Deck to continue. Because I don't think they're in the business of discontinuing products that sell well.
Yeah.
Last question, Troy. Instagram, Taylor A. Wood. ComC or ComC? Well, I'm a ComC pronouncer. That's the way I do it.
I'm ComC too.
I don't think anyone would ever take pronunciation advice from us, though, Troy.
No.
ComC stands for Check Out My Cards, in case anyone's interested.
Yeah.
So we're both in the same team here, huh? Well, we went from a record mailbag to maybe a record personal pickups, Troy. We got a lot of them. So you got your whole haul from the expo. And I haven't really seen any of these, so I'm kind of excited to see what you picked up.
Okay. Yes. Bunch of pickups from the 2024 Montreal Sports Card Expo. I got all of these were found hunting in, I call them dollar boxes. Some of these cards, were listed at $50 in these boxes, but I'm super excited at the number of cards I got and what I was able to find. And some of these cards I didn't know that much about, so it was kind of neat. All are Minnesota Wild players with one Minnesota North Star player and then a couple Pekkas. Again, loved hunting the boxes. Got great deals on all of them. More than 50% off on everything. Just be smart. Like I said, a lot of stuff in there. Who knows how long ago it was priced? But I got everything you'll see here. I think for under 200 US total, if I remember right.
Wow.
So it's kind of nuts. So I will just I'm gonna have to. I don't know exactly all the names of all these cards, but I wrote them all down. So I'm just gonna go back and forth. Okay, so here we go. First one. 2011-12 Panini Crown Royal Pekka Rinne Premier Date autographs out of 99. Thank you, Josh, for putting it on the screen because I forgot. Love this card. Love the look of it. Love that's numbered. A lot of, more than.
Is that a sticker auto or is that on card?
I think it's Panini, so I think it's a sticker, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, hold on. I got it right here. Yeah, I think it's a sticker. I think it's a sticker. Okay. And a couple of these do have sticker autos, and I've come to the conclusion, if I'm PCing and I know it's a card I want in my PC because of the player or what it is, I'm going to live with sticker autos and just be happy with it. That's just part of the game. Okay. And I think I want to say 70% of these cards are all numbered. So it was a lot of low number stuff. So that was pretty cool. All right. So that was the first one. Second one. Never seen this before. 2013-14 Artifacts Pekka Rinne Treasured Swatches. Jersey, patches, emerald. out of 36. So pretty cool card. Next one. Here's my one North Star player. 2006 Upper Deck Beehive, JP Parisi, Zach Parisi's dad, signature scrapbook auto, on-card auto. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He's passed away now. So very cool card. Next one, 2013 Trilogy, Mikael Granlund, rookie premieres level 1 auto out of $6.99. Next one, SPX, or 2013 SPX, Matt Dumba, rookie jersey auto out of $4.99. That's definitely a sticker. I can tell you that. I love this one. 2006 Upper Deck Trilogy, Mikko Koivu, Ice Scripts auto. You know,
that's a cool card.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Koivus floating around, so it's a good card. And then 2017-18 Artifacts, Nino Niederreiter, base auto material silver out of 35. It's the bookend, 35 out of 35. Again, that one's a sticker auto for sure. I'll tell you a story. When I pulled this one and brought it up, the guy goes, "Oh no." He's like, I can't believe this was in my like dollar box. But he's like, well, I'll honor it. So I was like, all right.
Oh, it's a rookie too, huh?
Yeah, 2003 Pacific Luxury Suite, Brent Burns, auto puck out of $2.99.
So that's a piece of the puck?
Yeah, it's a piece of puck. Authentic game used puck. That's what it says above it. I love this card.
Wow.
Fantastic. Out of $2.99. Brent Burns, obviously super young, but
yeah, babyface Brent Burns.
2008 Upper Deck Trilogy, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, Superstar Scripts auto. And then we have a 2016 Fleer Showcase, Jewel Eriksson Ek. Hot Prospects auto out of $4.99. I love this card. 2022 SP Authentic, Eriksson Ek, Sign of the Times auto, not numbered. Just awesome. And then the Gabrick run. This is a 2002 Be a Player Signature Series, Marian Gabrick autograph. Autograph's a little wonky, but I can see it. 2006 Fleer Ultra, Marian Gabrick Ice Medallion, Josh, out of 100.
Cool card. Love that
one. Very cool card. And then this one we got to talk about a little bit. 2005 Upper Deck Artifacts, Marian Gabrick Auto Facts Copper out of 75. However, I did notice this before I bought it. Talk about running off the page. Look at that auto at the bottom. It looks like this was a sticker. It was on a sticker sheet, and he missed.
Yeah.
And it's like basically almost cut the top. So not my favorite.
It's a Gabby crop top, Troy.
Yeah, it is a Gabby crop top. I would like to find another copy of this eventually, but for now, I'll live with it.
Nice looking card.
Yeah, and it was super cheap, so I'm not going to complain that much. All right, next one. We're getting to the end. 2007 SP Authentic Marian Gabrick SP Notables out of $1,999. And then we have a 2013 SP Game Use Charlie Coyle Significant Numbers autographs out of 63. And then we have 2012 Panini Rookie Anthology Jason Zucker Prism Rookie autographs, not numbered.
Wow.
Sticker. 2018 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection, Eric Stahl, Ultimate Materials Signatures Auto out of 49. I love this patch. I hope it's real. If it's not but it's the little flare at the M, I think, is what it is. Love that. Love the auto. Looks good. And then we have 2018 Upper Deck Clear Cut, Jordan Greenway Embedded Endorsement Rookie.
That's a nice card.
Yeah, auto out of 99. And then finally, Josh, check this one out. 2002 Pacific Crown Royal Gabrick Manny Fernandez Game Worn Dual Patches out of 303.
Well, I think your Brent Burns rookie is my favorite, but this is my second favorite.
Yeah, the Burns one I love. I love that one so much. But again, all this I want to say under 200 US.
That's 20 cards, so it's less. Yeah. It's an average of less than $10 a card.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like everyone came down like 50% or more on what they had it listed as, which is what it could be expected. Because I'm sure a lot of these were just sitting in these boxes forever. So
good work, Troy.
Yeah, it was fun.
You did it. You done it. You done good. Well, at least you did good.
Here we go. Story time. Uncle Josh.
Story time with Uncle Josh. So this my personal pickup comes with the story of how smart I am, Troy. No, I'm an idiot. I'm dumb, like I said, for what I did, and then secondly, why I'm admitting it to this many people, nobody will ever know. But here goes nothing. So Thursday night, I'm chilling. I'm at home here at my desk, working on the show a little bit.
Upset you're not at the Montreal Expo.
Yeah, I'm bitter. Peek into Gongshow Discord, and I saw a few posts of people that were talking about the Slab Sharks auction and pickups that they got, and the light bulb goes off, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Slab Shark auction is going on right now. Well, I want to play too. I want to get some cards. I don't like do this a lot. I don't like Snipe a lot, but so I loaded up the Slab Sharks website, went to the auction, sorted it, of course, by ending soonest.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about it all the time. They literally, there's something like 3,000 cards or something like that in the auction. So there's cards ending every 10 seconds, something like that. I don't know. But so when you go by ending soonest, there's stuff popping left and right. So it kind of puts you in that like heightened sense of panic. Like you got to be on your game, right? And I'm going through, I'm opening new tabs on my browser. Oh, this card might be interesting. This one might be interesting. This one. They all have like between, I don't know, 90 seconds and maybe 3 minutes left in their auction. So I got to do quick evaluations and make quick decisions in order to get my snipe on for these cards. So I go through, I found some. I'm like, do I like it? Do I want it? Do I need it? I don't know. And then I passed along there was a Topps Patrick Waugh rookie card that was raw. And it caught my eye for two reasons. The first was, I don't have a Patrick Waugh rookie, and I've always wanted one.
Yeah.
It was at $26, and the condition for the 2 seconds I saw it looked like it was decent. And I remember I'm going through a bunch of cards, I'm making decisions, and finally I come back to it. And at this point, there's maybe 40 seconds left in the auction, and I do a very like 3-second sort of review of the condition. I'm like, wow, this is really nice. Then I went back and I checked another card that was ending. I put in a bid. I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what a Topps. Well, so I started to do all this like calculus in my own head, right? About I want a Waugh rookie. I'd prefer an OPG, but this is really cheap. It's like $26. Even though it's Topps, I still want one, but I don't know what it's worth. Do I go to Card Ladder? Do I try to comp quick? So I open up Card Ladder. I start the comp process, and then the timer's like going tick tock, right in my brain. Yeah. And I'm like, I have no time to sit and sort through comps. This is ending very soon. So I flip back. There's like 12 seconds left. I put in a panic bid of $36 and like with 3 seconds left in the auction, and boom, I win. It sells for $33. And my first thought is, sweet, I have a Patrick Waugh auto or rookie. I've never had one. This is awesome. And then I'm like, well, I should probably now try to figure out what I bought. So I go back to Card Ladder and I look them up, and the last one sells for $100.
So I'm showing what you bought. This is your sale right here.
Yeah. And it's like $100. And then I go and $100. And I'm like, I spent 33 Canadian, which is like $27 or something like that. Not bad. Or maybe it's 33 American. I don't remember at this point. But I'm like, I think I got a deal. And then it starts to like connect in my mind, Troy. Is it too good of a deal? Is there something wrong? Like, is a corner bent that I just missed? So I go back again. I look over the condition of the card very closely. I'm like, this card is awesome. Holy cow. And then now you can show the photo. Now you can show the image. Yeah. Then I see the title. Here's the title of the auction that I want.
I'll zoom in on the title.
The title is 1998 Topps reprint Patrick Waugh rookie. I'm an idiot. I want to be very overt here too. This has nothing to do with Slab Sharks.
Oh yeah.
There's zero misleading about this title. They actually they didn't even mention 86.
I know, that's the crazy thing. They said 98 reprint. Like it's right there. Right there.
I thought I bought a Patrick Waugh rookie. I bought a reprint. A 1998 Patrick Waugh rookie reprint. And I'm like, and of course I just close my eyes and just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Then I go back to Card Ladder and I'm like, please tell me that this is actually worth something. That's pretty bad, Troy. So the prior sale was $4.72.
Here we go.
Yeah, how am I doing? Right? That's not good. Then my next thought was beyond that. I'm like, for the love of everything holy, do not make this a record sale. I will never live this down. It cannot be a record sale, but we're good, Troy, because in
You're good.
February 2022, somebody for some reason paid $39 for this card. But then I go back through the recent comps, and the sale before the $4.72 one was $1.48. Literally less than $1.50. And yeah, so that means that I basically paid like almost 1,600% of comps for this card. I think actually my calculator broke figuring that out, Troy. I just, why am I so dumb?
It was panicky, right? A lot of stuff happened.
Isn't that the crazy thing about this hobby though? Like, we've done thousands of hours of trying to give people like real rational advice. Yes. And then it's like, ooh, shiny new toy, right? I just,
what happens? Plus, look at this way. You didn't, ended up,
it wasn't like $400.
No, when you first said your story, like you told us like a little bit of background, we didn't, it was a group chat. I to myself was thinking, please God, don't be something where it was like $100 card and you put in, you fat fingered or something, and you put 1,000 as your offer instead of 100, and you won it, and it was like some crazy amount. But at the end of the day, lesson learned. It wasn't a huge mistake or like dollar value mistake.
Well, but again, I'm never sniping again. I suck at it. I can't do it. I always end up buying cards that I don't really want to, just because I want to win something. I did pay for it too, just so everybody knows. I'm not one of those people. I manned up, and my $2 card I paid and the one that to rub salt in the wound too. Of course, it's shipping from Canada because Slab Sharks is in Canada. I was going to pay for that too.
Well, if you didn't pay for it, the hobby would have kicked you out. I'd have kicked you out. Yeah, I know.
That's like, where do I go from here? Like, what happens now? Do I turn in my podcaster's license? Is this my hobby? Scarlet Letter. You have the Caprice off. Yeah. Do I buy? I was so happy for a brief instance that I had a Patrick Waugh rookie. You have no idea the joy running. And then it was like, and how I probably before, I want to say maybe 6 times I looked at the listing before I bid. But I was so focused on the condition of the card because it was raw. But I don't know. I don't know how I didn't see the fact that it was a reprint. Yeah, I don't know. So, but you do something like this, you got to own it. You got to learn from it. Yeah. My problem though, Troy, is I never learn. I hope other people have done this, like make me feel better about myself. But I don't know. I might need professional help. I don't know what my problem is, but I can't do auctions. I can't do anything. I always make mistakes, and yeah. I don't know. Maybe this could be a segment, right? If anyone wants to share like embarrassing hobby blunders, I don't know why you would, but apparently just me. And you want to send us a little write up, maybe we'll all get a laugh out of a bad situation. And if you can do that, I think you're doing fine. So yes, I spent an insane amount of money on a Patrick Waugh Topps. It couldn't even be an OPG reprint. I had to get the lesser of the
Topps reprint. Yeah,
there we go. Then I did have like a regular pickup. I bought a lot of Gretzky's from Parker's Champions. I got the mini and the silver legend, Troy. I've been wanting the mini for a while. Did a nice little deal on my card post. Was able to make a cash offer for less than the seller had them listed on eBay, which is kind of a win for both. Because remember, my card post doesn't charge seller fees, so I get a better price. He can actually walk away with more money. That's a good thing too. Of course, again, MCP sponsors our pack opening videos. I always want to make sure we're transparent, but I do love their platform regardless. And then thankfully I got one deal right. Then I also sold 3 cards this past week on my card post, which again, no seller fees. That's kind of nice. So, and when I sell cards, Troy, it helps me fund my attempts to dramatically overpay on reprints, which apparently that's what I do. So, yeah, man, that was probably our longest personal pickups, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that had to be the longest one ever.
It's a lot longer than our nothings, which is what usually is. So.
Nothing burger.
Well, that's our show. If you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, we'd ask you to consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. The link is in the show description and the podcast apps and our YouTube description. It's on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. It says become a patron. It's on Patreon's website, patreon.com. You just search for Hockey Cards Gong Show, and it's in our Instagram and TikTok profiles too. We're on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. Have an awesome start to your week. We will be back, as always, on Thursday.